Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So welcome everyone. Thank you for coming. Thank you for being here. We are reading a very nice part of the Srimad Bhagavatam. Of course, all of it's nice, but it has special flavors, special wonderful qualities. And so this is where Maharaj Nimi is asking 9 questions to 9 of the Nava Yogendras. And so this is 11th canto, chapter 2, text number 35. Yan ashtaya naro rajan napramadyeta karhichit dhavanyamile vanetre naskalet napatetiha. So this is going on the previous verse. So the previous verse was talking about how devotional service is very anja. Anja means easy. It means also like happily. Please, it's a sukhena. It's not only easy, but it's done with joy. Does that remind you of any particular verse of the Bhagavad Gita? Which verse is that? Adipurusha Prabhu.
I'm trying.
Yes. We can hear you.
Oh yeah, it's joyfully performed. Raja Bin is the king of knowledge.
Yes. So here's that previous verse. This is anja. It's easily, and it's sukhena. It's sukha means happiness. It's very easily, joyfully done. So in this verse, it's continuing on about the previous verse was even those who are ignorant, like you don't know anything, you're ignorant. It's still done. You still it's like you're entering you're in your doctoral dissertation, but you haven't even graduated preschool yet. All the qualifications are removed, and you're allowed to go further and further and further. So yan ashtaya naro rajan. So ashtaya means this word ashtikyam. Ashta means where you're standing. So standing on, having conviction, vishwas, having conviction, having faith, having attention and affection. So yan ashtaya naro, any person who has faith in devotional service, rajan, na pradmedyeta kahichit. So pramad, mada means pride, and pramada means distraction. Being so distracted, you're in illusion. Na pradmedyeta karhichit. So you're anyone who has this faith in devotional service, they're never severely affected by pride or affected by illusion, by distraction. Davan. Davan means running. Davan nirmila vanetre, running with your eyes closed. Naskalet, you will not slip. Napatet, you will not fall. So Karen's kids, this does not mean today you go out and you run with your eyes closed. Actually, in 2003 or 2004, we were watching, I think I was on Krishna.com. It was the Krishna bus tour, the youth bus tour, and they were playing this game, and they were Krishna Kishore from the Mayapurs. He was blindfolded. Now this is in 2003, so he's like a young teenage kid, and he was just running. I think it was some kind of like a tag or something, but he was like blindfold tag, and see he was running and running, and there was like this kind of not like a metal fence, but like some kind of like fence you see in a park, like that maybe made with type of flexible material, and he just hit that, and he flipped over, and then he kept on running. And we were watching this video. We're like, oh my God, we love this kid. Look at this kid. He's so wild. He's just running with a blindfold. And someone says, oh, he can see. He's cheating. He's like, no, look, I fell. That's proof. It's proof that I wasn't cheating. So this verse, we read the translation, O King, one who accepts this process of devotional service to the supreme God, personality of Godhead, will never blunder on this path in this world. Even while running with his eyes closed, he will not slip. He will not fall. So this is very powerful verse. Well, worse, slipping is bad. If you're running and you slip, that's one thing. But even worse is when you fall. So this verse is glorifying how special it is to be in connection with Krishna. How very special it is. So you have all these different paths. Now we'll get to the purport, but we have all these different paths of raising one's consciousness, are becoming closer and closer to maybe the goal of liberation, or even just even the minor goals of getting the artha, the benefits of religiosity, kama artha. Maybe one who just wants to practice dharma so they can get this kama and artha, these material desires fulfilled, and get the economic situation solid, or they want liberation. And there are many different paths that address those needs. So you have the nishkama karma yoga. So here's a question. What is the difference between nishkama karma yoga and bhakti yoga? Question, somebody? Anupam? Jeffrey Ackler? Nishkama karma yoga.
Nishkama karma yoga?
Nishkama means karma yoga without desire. What's the difference between that and bhakti yoga?
Well, karma yoga without desire is behaving in the world as though your material actions will produce results, even if you're detached from those results. Whereas bhakti is the desire to serve the Lord in whichever capacity is needed.
Nice, thank you. So Nishkama Karma Yogi may offer things to Krishna in the pursuance of their dharmic activities. Everybody's heard this verse. Whatever you do, whatever you eat, yat karoshi, yat ashnasi, yat jihosi. That's not Nishkama Karma Yoga, because a Nishkama Karma Yogi, he does not offer whatever he does. He only does, if there's doing some dharmic thing, and at the end of the sacrifice, there's as they say, Esha Pushpa, not Esha Pushpancha, they say, Idam Nishingaya Swaha, this is for Nishingadev, Nam Namama, it's not for me. So they may offer to the Lord, but it's only those activities that are related to the dharmic activities. They don't offer their everyday activities. They don't offer their eating, their sleeping, their brushing their teeth, whatever they're doing. They don't offer all of that in the service of the Lord. So this, whereas bhakti, it's not only that their person is offering their dharmic activities, they're offering their worldly activities, and their activities has this aropacity. It's offered at the beginning. It's the idea that I'm doing this for the purpose of Krishna rather than an afterthought. Where the nishkama karma yogi, or even the nishkama karma yogi is I will offer something, I will do something, and then the end result I'll dedicate to God. But it's mine in the first place. And then I'll dedicate the end result to God. Also, another difference between the Nishkama Karma Yogi and the devotee. The Nishkama Karma Yogi thinks, I'm a Brahmana, I'm a Kshatriya, I'm a Vaishya, and I am doing my duty. The Sakama karma yogi may do things out of material desires, and the nishkama karma yogi may do something out of duty. But the devotee has this mood of, I am a servant. There's that identity is different. They may look very similar, the way they do the things. They may both be religious, but one may be religious because it's my duty. Just like a child may clean their room out of duty. So this is the level of this doing out of duty. They may, lower levels, they may do it out of, I want that allowance. That's even lower. I just want that money. Or even a lower level is like, I do it out of fear. My parents are going to punish me. So that's the lowest level. Second level is out of desire for material benefit. Third level, out of desire, just doing it out of duty. But the highest level, out of affection. So that is the devotee. Shayan ashtaya narora jana pradmedyeta karhichit. So pramad has this has two meanings. Mada means pride. The devotee is not ever severely affected by pride because Krishna takes personal interest in his devotee, and he will smash their pride, he will correct their pride. He's also not severely affected by pramada. Pramada means illusion. How many of you have heard of the 4 defects given? Prabhupada talks about in the Ishopanishad. Anybody remember the 4 defects? So you have
imperfect senses.
Yes, karna patava.
Tendency to make mistakes.
Brahma. So that's like you might see a shell in the water. And you're like, oh look, there's a piece of silver. You might that mistake is there. Not you're paying attention, but you might not actually. You might make a mistake in understanding what you're paying attention to.
Cheating propensity.
Yes, vipralipsa. There's one more. The tendency to be an illusion, and that's called pramad. So this is different from the Brahma, the one who you make a mistake where you see a shell in the water and you think it's like a piece of silver. Pramad is when you're not attentive, you're just unconscious. And the example that Prabhupada gives about pramada, he says like a person thinks that he's this body. And how does he think he's this body? He's just not conscious. And so here the verse is saying one who has this firm conviction in bhakti and this devotional service of the Lord is never severely affected by this illusion because of that quality of reciprocity of the Lord. The Lord is always reciprocating with the devotee. So he says, Dhavan nirmila vanetre. So Dhavan means that you running. And nirmila means close, netre, eyes closed. So what does this mean? So Sridhar Swami explains that the eyes of the Brahmanas are the Shrutis and the Smritis. The Rig Sama Yajurveda Upanishads and the Puranas, Itihasas, the Mahabharat, Ramayana. So the Shrutis and Smritis, these are the eyes of the Vedas. And even without knowing these things, with one's not seeing any of those things, not having any sight, that the devotee, he might not know the Vedas. Everybody knows the story of the Brahmana that Lord Chaitanya saw in South India. He didn't know how to read. He didn't know how to properly read. And he was crying when he was holding Bhagavad Gita and crying and crying and crying. And Lord Chaitanya asked him, why are you crying? And look, this devotee, you could see, okay, this person is not trying to make fun of me. Others are making fun of me, but this one is not. He said, well, my guru asked me to read Bhagavad Gita, but I don't know how to read. But whenever I pick up this book, I see my Lord. He's the servant of his devotee, and that thought brings me to tears. And he said, okay, you have understood Bhagavad Gita. And so this is, on understood in chapter 10 of Bhagavad Gita that the Lord, he's in everyone's heart and he reciprocates with one's devotion and he gives knowledge. Tesham satata yuktanam, to those who are constantly engaged. Bhajatam pritipurvakam, in loving devotional service. The dhami buddhi, I give them intelligence. Yogam tam yenamam upayanti, by which they can come back to me. How does he do this? Tesham evanakam partam, I'm in everyone's heart. Tesham evanakam partam, ahamagyana jam tamaha, I destroy the darkness of ignorance by the shining lamp of knowledge. So Krishna is in everyone's heart. But for those who render devotional service or even have faith in devotional service, even it said, even if they don't have any faith, but they somehow connect to devotional service, like Ajamil did not even have faith, but he connected to the holy name. Still, they're all supremely benefited. The previous verse was saying, not even like engaging, just having ashtaya, ashtikam, this faith in devotional service. You will not slip. You will not fall. So Davan Vanirmilia Vanetre. Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur speaks more on this topic. So what does running mean? So with Ashtanga Yoga, can you skip a step? No, you can't skip a step. How many of you heard the story of Vishwamitra Muni? Anybody heard the story of Vishwamitra Muni? He was traveling. No, he was traveling with. He was actually a great king, and he was with his soldiers, 10,000 soldiers, and he came across the hermitage of Vashishta. And Vashishta Muni, he was the Muni of the line of the Surya dynasty of Lord Ramachandra's line. This is prior to the appearance of Lord Ramachandra, and he was in his ashram, and he saw this king and with all the soldiers. Oh, welcome, welcome! Please come. We will let us feed you. He said, "Well, I don't want to inconvenience you." The king said, we have our own supplies." He said, "No, no, 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 no. You are a guest. Let us feed you, and I can do it. I have a Surabhi cow, this Kamadenu. I have a wish-fulfilling cow, and I want, and with her help, I can serve you nicely." And so he had all the 10,000 soldiers line up, and with the power of the Surabhi cow, they were making a 20-course feast. Nice, amazing, delicious feast. And the king was looking at this cow. He's like amazed. And he said, "I want this cow." And he told the Vishishta Muni, he said, "Give me this cow. I'm the king. I should have the best of things. Give me this cow." And Vishishta Muni said, "No, she's not to give away. We are performing yagyas for the sake of bringing goodness to this world, auspiciousness to this world, and she assists me. I can't give her away." And the king said, "If you don't give her away, then I will take her." And he grabbed her by her horns, and he just started pulling this cow away with this, he was a very powerful king. And so he started dragging this cow away by her horns, and she started crying, saying, "Vashishta Muni, how I don't want to go with this wretch. Stop this, stop this." He says, "What am I going to do? I'm a Brahmana, I don't fight." He said, "Well, the words of the Brahmana are more powerful than the arms of the Kshatriya. All you have to do is say, 'Stop.'" And she said, "Stop." And immediately her body was immovable. And then out of the different gates of her body came these powerful warriors known as Ribhus. And these Ribhu warriors started to fight all of the king's men, slaughtering the army of the king. They were fighting back, and there was a great battle. And then the king, Vishwamitra, sent his 100 sons to kill Vashishta. And Vashishta took his staff, just tapped it on the ground, and 99 of those sons were burnt to ashes immediately. And so then the king left completely dejected. He said, "Oh, I'm going to come back. I'm going to bring." And so he did austerities. He got powers. He got the different celestial ashras, and he came back and he started to fire all these celestial ashras at Vishishtamuni. And Vishishtamuni just took his staff up, and they all just like got sucked into his staff. Again, he left dejected. So then he decided, well, what's the point of being a Kshatriya? If being a Brahmana, Brahma Rishi, is so much more powerful. Well, what's the point of being a Kshatriya? He says, I'm going to be a Brahma Rishi. I'm going to be I'm going to become a sage. And so he started to do austerities on the banks. I forget what river, but he was doing some austerities. And Indra became threatened by this, by the austerities of Vishwamitra, because Indra also achieved his own position due to his own austerities and piety. So he became threatened. So he sent down Menaka, and Menaka came, and she was doing her dance, and her feminine Shakti is being spread through the sound of those bangles. I don't know if Jeffrey Ackler would have that same Shakti if he was in front of Vishwamitra with the bangles, because his eyes were closed. He was in deep meditation, but there was a certain Shakti that was invested in the sound, and he opened his eyes, and this was after 60,000 years of meditation, all lost. And he had a child, famous Shakuntala, famous celestial beauty. Then again, he did meditation. Another 60,000 years, Indra again became threatened. And then again, he sent another, was it Apsara, or celestial maiden. This time, Vishwamitra opened his eyes, and he burned her to ashes by looking at her. He did not fall this time due to lust, but he fell due to anger. And again, he had to perform his mystical meditation. Another 60,000 years. So after 180,000 years, he finally got second initiation. You serve at the Bhakti Center a few years, you follow nicely, worship the deity, go to the deity worship course with Vasudev, you can get your second initiation within a few years. But 180,000 years, finally, Vishwamitra, after actually giving up his envy, when he became envy, Jeffrey says that after he'll get his after 180,000. So after giving up his envy, he was able to become a sage. But this is because the path of Ashtanga Yoga, you cannot skip. Any type of slip, any type of skip, you go back. You can't run. You have to go each step. Walking is going step by step. Running is skipping steps. That's the meaning of this word dhavan. Means you're skipping steps. You look at karma yoga. You have the story of Twashta and Vitrasura. They were performing a yagya to kill Indra, make a monster who would kill Indra. And he said, Indra Shatru. After 7 days of performing the yagya, one slight mispronunciation, one small vowel instead of a long vowel, produced the opposite result. So it's not that you start from 0 when you make a mistake. You can start from -10, -100 when you make these mistakes on the path of karma yoga. So he was performing this yagya, and not only did he not get his result, he got the negative. He got the opposite of what he wanted. So and then you have the story of Maharaj Nriga. He actually was blessed by Krishna, but it was also a story to illustrate that someone who was not in devotional service, because he was not practicing pure devotional service. He was, the one who gave the cows to one Brahmana, the cow came back and he gave it to the other Brahmana, that he was without this protection. And because he was without this protection, he became cursed to become a giant lizard, like a dinosaur. It says it was as big as a cave, a big giant cave. Yeah, he became this giant lizard. And Krishna, he saved him. That was his mercy. But he wasn't in pure devotional service. Therefore, he wasn't under this special type of protection. So this is the glorification that is here. So to practice jnana yoga, you have to be chitta suddhi. You have to have completely pure consciousness. You have to have free from material desires. Actually, usually person goes to jnana yoga after performing karma yoga completely, where they come to nishkama karma yoga and they become purified of all material desires. And then they can begin to practice jnana yoga. But as it's mentioned, you even without being purified, even without faith, like you have ajamil, so much benefit is there by coming in contact. And this running also means that you might not even be in the aspects of devotional service. So there is the angas of bhakti, and you might not do the angas completely. Like it said, okay, before kirtan, before glorifying, we should hear properly. Before preaching, we should learn. And before, so Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam. So before Kirtanam, sufficient Shravanam. And before Smaranam, sufficient Kirtanam. But here it's saying, actually, even without sufficient, even if one is like just eager to connect to the Lord, there's no loss. One may be insufficient in different types of even the angas of bhakti, but have faith in the overall angi, the process of bhakti, then they are protected. So let's see. So this is, like I said, if you're on this running, if you're on they just had this marathon in New York. Sometimes they close down a highway and they have all the like bicycles, or you even run on a highway. So if you imagine a shut down highway, 5-6 lane highway, you can run with your eyes closed on such a smooth open road. You can run with your eyes closed and you will not run into anything. But try running in the forest. In the forest of material existence, you will slip and you will fall. But when you're in the path of devotional service, this is the high road. This Krishna actually is there to make everything very quick and easy. He says in chapter 9 of Bhagavad Gita, he says, Shipram Vatmi Dharmatma. Quickly, I make him a righteous soul. Shipram, very quickly, I will make the devotee a righteous soul. Even if the devotee is full of faults, apichet sudaracharo bhajite mamananyabhak. So this is the special thing that is being expressed here, that there is a special reciprocity that is with the Lord. Let's see, I need some more. Okay, so let's read the purport. Very long purport. According to Srila Sridhar Swami, the word anja easily is used in the previous verse, is explained in this verse. He says, anja padoktam su karatavam vinoti, vinoti. By the word anjana, the ease of performing bhakti is established, and this will be elaborated in the present verse. In Bhagavad Gita 9:2, which that's what the one Adipurusha quoted, the Lord himself states, Pratyaksha Vagamam Dharmyam Susukam Kartamavyam. The process of devotional service to the Supreme Personality of God, it is eternal and is very joyfully and naturally performed. Srila Prabhupada comments, the process of devotional service is a very happy one. Why? Devotional service consists of Shravanam Kirtanam. So one can simply hear the chanting of the glories of the Lord or attend philosophical lectures on transcendental knowledge given by the authorized acharyas. Simply by sitting, one can learn. Then one can eat the remnants of food offered to God, nice palatable dishes. In every state, devotional service is joyful. One can execute devotional service even in the most poverty-stricken condition. The Lord says, Patram pushram palam. He is ready to accept from the devotee any kind of offering, never mind what, even a leaf, a flower, a bit of fruit, or a little water, which are all available in every part of the world and be offered by any person. One point, the verse is using all of those items in a singular noun, that it's not patrani, even just one leaf, one fruit, regardless of social position, it will be accepted if offered with love. There are many instances in history simply by tasting the tulsi leaves offered by the lotus feet of the Lord. Great sages like Sanat Kumar became great devotees. Therefore, the devotional service process is very nice and be executed in a happy mood. God accepts the love with which things are offered to him. The essential point to be understood here is that a living entity surrenders to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He tells the Lord, my dear Lord, although I am most sinful and unqualified and for a long time been trying to forget you, I am now taking shelter at your lotus feet. From this day on, I am yours. Whatever I possess, my body, my mind, my words, family, riches, I'm now offering at your lotus feet. Please do with me as you like. The Supreme Lord Krishna has repeatedly given assurance in the Bhagavad Gita that he will protect and redeem such a surrendered living entity, bringing him back home, back to Godhead, for an eternal life in the Lord's own kingdom. Thus, the qualification of surrendering to the Lord is so great and spiritually potent that even if a surrendered soul is deficient in other aspects of pious life, his elevated status is protected by the Lord himself. And other processes such as yoga, because one depends on his own determination and intelligence and does not actually seek the shelter of the Lord, one is subject to fall at any moment, being protected by one's own flimsy, limited potency. Therefore, it is stated in Bhagavatam 10.2.32, Arukachena param padam tata padantyado nantro yushman angrayaha. If one gives up the shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord and instead tries to advance in the yoga process by one's own determination, or if one tries to make progress in knowledge by one's speculative power, surely one will eventually fall again into the mediocre material platform, having no protection other than one's own fallible strength. Therefore, the Vaishnavacharyas in their commentaries on this verse have illustrated in various ways the vast superiority of Bhakti Yoga, or pure devotional service. In this connection, Sridhar Swami says, Nililya netre davanapi iha bhagavata dharmashus naskalet nimilanam nama jananam yatahu shruti smiti ubhe netre viparam parikirtite ekana vikala kano dvabhayam anda prakirta iti. Even if running with both eyes closed, a devotee on the path of Bhagavad Dharma will not stumble. Closing to the eyes refers to being in ignorance of the Vedic standard. As instead, Shruti and Smriti are the two eyes of the Brahmanas. Lacking one of them, the Brahmana is half blind, and be deprived of both, he is considered completely blind. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur makes another point that the verse says, having closed one's eyes, meaning you're closed, it means you're not even in ignorance, meaning you know, but you're not even attentive to these things. You're only attentive to the process of the devotional service. Still, you will not fail. Bhagavad Gita 10.10, which we quoted, the Lord has clearly stated that even if a devotee is lacking in Vedic knowledge or ignorant of Vedic literature, the Lord personally enlightens him within the heart if that devotee is actually engaged in loving service to the Lord. In this connection, Srila Prabhupada states, when Lord Chaitanya was in Benares promulgating the chanting of Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, thousands of people were following him. Prakashananda was very influential and learned scholar in Benares at that time, derided Lord Chaitanya for being a sentimentalist. Sometimes philosophers criticize the devotees because they think that the devotees are in the darkness of ignorance and are philosophically naive sentimentalists. Actually, that is not a fact. There are very, very learned scholars who put forward the philosophy of devotion, But even if a devotee does not take advantage of their literatures or of his spiritual master, if he is sincere in his devotional service, he is helped by Krishna himself from within his heart. So the sincere devotee engaged in Krishna consciousness cannot be without knowledge. The only qualification is that one carry out the devotional service in full Krishna consciousness. End quote. Yet this facility given by the Lord cannot justify unauthorized concoctions put forward about the process of devotional service in the name of spontaneous devotion. In this connection, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur has stated, Bhagavati praptiyartam pitan marga karanam tvapi dushana vaham eva. If one manufactures his own process of devotional service for the sake of attaining the Supreme Lord, such a concoction will cause total ruination. You know, if someone says, whatever you offer, whatever you eat, okay, whatever you do, okay, I offer I do have a slaughterhouse business and I offer my meat. No, it's not, it means within the confines of Dharma. Shruti Smriti, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur goes on to quote, Shruti Smriti Puranadi Pancharachika Vidim Vina, Anjantikir Hayer Bhaktir Utpataiva Kalpate. If one's so-called unalloyed devotion to Lord Hari does not take into account the regulations of Shruti, Smriti, Puranas, and Pancharatra, it is nothing more than disturbance to society. In other words, even if one is not learned in Vedic literatures, if he is engaged in loving service of the Lord, he is to be accepted as a pure devotee. Nonetheless, such loving devotion cannot in any way contradict the injunctions of revealed scriptures. Such group as the Prakrita Sahajas ignore the standard regulations of Vaishnava Dharma and engage in illicit, degraded activities, dressing as Radha and Krishna in the name of spontaneous devotion. They claim that such spontaneous devotion is revealed by the Lord himself, and they need not refer to standard scriptures. Similarly, all over the world, there are pseudo-religionists who manufacture their own processes and claim that they're receiving knowledge from the Lord within their hearts. Therefore, it is important to understand, as stated here, that spontaneous revelation by the Lord within the heart is meant to not alter the eternal process of devotional service of the Lord, but to give supplementary facility to a sincere devotee who is ignorant of revealed scriptures. Oftentimes you see, sometimes there's some guru figure, and they're like, "Are you God?" And he's just like, maybe. He doesn't say no, and so you find there's like even there's like a popular group of Vaishnavism or Bhakti that's being spread, and the guru does, he's being worshipped as God, and that you find this in the morning song. It says Shakshat Haritvena. Shakshat Hari, the guru is godly. He's related to God because of his devotional mood, but it's not saying the guru is actually, he is ontologically the supreme being. And when the guru figures don't clarify that, then you see there's some dishonesty there. Something is wrong going on. In other words, the revealed scriptures describe the eternal process of service to the Lord. Since the Lord is eternal and the supreme living entity is eternal, the process of loving relation is also eternal. The Lord never changes his essential nature, nor does the living entity. Therefore, there's no need to change the essential process of loving service to the Lord. Special revelation by the Lord is meant to give scriptural knowledge by another means, not to contradict scriptural knowledge. On the other hand, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur has stated that if a devotee is executing all the basic principles of Bhakti Yoga and advancing devotional service, such a Vaishnava should not be criticized for neglecting secondary procedures. For example, His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada established hundreds of spiritual communities in the Western countries for practicing Krishna consciousness. These devotees in these communities are giving up all illicit sex, gambling, intoxication, and meat eating, and constantly engage in the service of the Lord to Krishna. Such followers of Srila Prabhupada are able to make wonderful spiritual advancement and convert many thousands of people to the process of devotional service. In fact, all the faithful members of ISKCON who follow the standard regulations remain free from material contamination and make visible progress in going back home, back to Godhead. Such members of ISKCON cannot possibly execute all the details of Varnashram Dharma system. In fact, many Western devotees can barely pronounce Sanskrit words and are not expert in performing elaborate sacrifices based on the chanting of mantras or offering of oblations. But because they are executing the essential principles of Bhakti Yoga by giving up material sense gratification and constantly engaging in loving service to Krishna, their position is guaranteed both in this life and in the next. We've seen many sophisticated Sanskrit scholars and learned experts in the details of Vedic sacrifices who can hardly even follow the basic principles of human life, namely no illicit sex, no meat eating, no gambling, no intoxication. Such brilliant scholars and ritualistic performers are generally seen to be attached to materialistic conceptions of life and are fond of mental speculation. Although in the Bhagavad Gita, Lord himself has given perfect knowledge for all time, such so-called scholars consider themselves more intelligent than the Lord and thus speculate on the meaning of Vedic literature. Such speculation can certainly constitute a fall from perfect spiritual life. And then what is to be said of materialistic fruitive activities, which are illusory in every sense of the term? The transcendental devotees are able to remain aloof from the pollution of fruitive activity and mental speculation, and that is the essential purport of this verse. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur has warned that the words Yan Ashtaya indicate that the exalted status of a devotee can never be accorded to one who is not following the basic regulations of Bhakti Yoga, nor can it apply to someone who is sometimes serving Krishna and sometimes serving illusory energy Maya by mental speculation or fruitive activities. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur has concluded, and all other dharmas other than Bhagavad Dharma, one must be consider the conditioned soul's qualification. But a surrendered soul to the Lord is never confounded by error, even if unqualified in all respects. His feet never stumble. He never falls. Even though wandering in the world at whim, he always resides in an auspicious place by the influence of his unswerving worship. The unique potency of Bhagavad Dharma does not appear in any of the other dharmas of the world. There's no comparison between a surrendered individual who's taken shelter at Bhagavad Dharma and the practitioner of any other dharma. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shlaka Chakshumaitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Okay, that is the verse and purport. We have just a minute. It's a very long purport. Some reflections, and then we can go to the afterglow after the darshan.
Thank you, Nityananda Chandra Prabhu. Very nice class.
Okay, they're like, oh my God, maybe 1 minute.
Someone's talking?
Can you see me?
Devaki Priti. Okay, let's see. Devaki Priti, is that for us?
I think the connection's not so good.
Yeah. Okay. Adipurusha Prabhu?
I'm here, but I don't have anything to say.
Did you pray to Prabhupada?
Yeah. Sometimes Prabhupada says, just be quiet.
Interesting. Yes, thank you. Okay, Nityananda Chandra Prabhu, back to you. Or maybe Mathuranath Prabhu would like to speak. Yes, no, maybe.
About to have darshan, but just wonder if anybody can say which Prabhupada states a pastime with Lord Chaitanya around this not necessarily needing to know the scriptures, just having devotion. And there's one story Prabhupada quotes around that, where Lord Chaitanya comes across a devotee that's experiencing this. Does anybody know that story?
I think Nityananda Chandra spoke of that story with the Bhagavad Gita.
Oh, you spoke of that. Yes. Okay. Yeah. I missed that.
There's Rupa Goswami has this poem, and he says, "Where was Dhruva's maturity? Where was Gajendra's knowledge? You know, Gajendra was an animal, but Dhruva was a child. Where was Kubja's beauty? Where was Sudama's wealth? Where was Vidura's noble birth? Where was Ugrasena's chivalrous strength? Nope, they didn't have any of these qualifications. Only bhakti."
It's very poetic. I really like that last point. The devotees asked Prabhupada about their qualification, and Prabhupada said, I created your qualification. Just stick to the books. Okay, darshan time. Thank you, Nityananda Chandra Prabhu.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess we gotta go. No, I'm not really feeling well.
Hare Krishna, welcome to the Afterglow. Nityananda Chandra Prabhu, you have a few minutes to stay with us over time.
Yep.
Thank you. My reflection is that when the Guru asks us to do something, we may not feel qualified, but we should still open the book, even backwards. He asks us to read. We can't read, pick up the book. It reminded me of what Vaisheshika Prabhu says. You can't distribute books, touch the ground. It's good enough. You just touch the ground. Get out of the van, touch the ground, good enough. So thank you for making this encouragement point today. Anyone else wants to reflect?
I was reflecting on that story where that devotee's crying, just looking at the Bhagavad Gita, and he's doesn't know how to read, and many other sadhus were making fun of him, and then Lord Chaitanya gets he's having so much emotion. So I was just thinking, where it's devotional service, but the part of the devotion is emotion, and a lot of time we're maybe we miss that a little bit. That there isn't so much emotion in the devotion, and which we have to start. We have to start, but we can ask Krishna, please help awaken the emotion for you. Please help me to understand you. Please help me to understand your love. And so, yeah, it's actually the goal is to have this loving emotion. It's not just doing activities. So that's something I'm just reflecting on and around that pastime.
Thank you, Maturnath Prabhu. There's something in the chat from Jeffrey Prabhu. It's not the size of the offering, but the emotion in the devotion. Yeah, he liked it. Emotion in the devotion. Thank you. And praying for emotion is also valid. Or sticking to your guru's instruction while not necessarily feeling the emotion is also emotion. Guru Maharaj, I'm sticking to my vows to please you. That's emotion. Okay. Annabelle, Isaiah, what's that painting? What's that drawing? Can you give us some purport?
Looks like Mother Yasoda, that rascal.
I drew Krishna stealing butter, and Mother Yashoda
What did I do?
is coming.
We can't see the picture anymore.
Show it to us again.
Ananda Bihari. I think you
I must have tapped on something. Hold on. Ask this video. Okay. Do you see the request? Okay, there you go.
There we go.
So yeah, tell us. So that's Mother Yashoda, is that correct?
Yeah, and Krishna is stealing butter.
All right. And what's in her hand? Is she
A stick.
a stick? Discipline stick? Is that what Karen does to you?
No.
No.
No. Yesterday I stole butter with a run. Get that out of my face. Okay. Ow.
I have a question for Nityananda Prabhu.
Yes.
Why do we get stuck where we're afraid to move forward? We're afraid to change. We're even afraid of what Krishna may do to us.
I was just reading yesterday the Madhurya Kadambini, and it describes that if when we chant and constant tears don't flow from our eyes in pure devotional ecstasy, that means there's some offense there. Nama aparad, seva aparad, Vaishnava aparad. Because the result of chanting with, attention and affection should be pure love of Godhead. Actually, one thing that mentioned that the special thing about devotional service is that we say the means and the ends are the same. So you have Sambandha, Abhideya, and Prayojana. So Sambandha is like the map. Abhideya, Sambandha is you have in science, you have what is called hypothesis, experiment, and result. So Sambandha, the hypothesis or the map, this is how everything's laid out. And then experiment is like actually going through that map. And result means you get your destination. You actually achieve your destination. And generally that is like a step-by-step process. But here it says Davan nirmile vanetre, that there's some skipping that goes on with devotional service. We kind of jump ahead a lot. It's kind of like you're holding now the magical map of Bhakti. And just looking at this magical map, you're opening this map that's actually incomplete. You don't have a complete understanding. Just like Sambandha means a full understanding. Maybe you have like an incomplete understanding. And this is a map to the wonderful shores of Yamuna. And as soon as you open this map, you start to feel the cooling water near your toes. Meaning that there is an experience of the goal, prayojana, in Sambandha. There's an experience of the end right at the very beginning. You don't get that with Ashtanga yoga. You don't get that with Karma yoga. You don't get with Jnana yoga. The Jnani must have these. He must be viveka. He has to have great intelligence and discrimination. But the devotee might not have any of these things. But he just wants to serve Krishna, and Krishna is helping him, despite not having a complete understanding, despite not completely following the map, even skipping around the journey. But the fact that we're not fully immersed in the end, this prayojana, the end, means that there is still some offense there, some kind of, and we can eradicate our offenses. One of the main ways of eradicating offense is constantly chanting the holy name and being attentive to those things. If it's Vaishnava aparad, then we try to address that Vaishnava aparad by serving the Vaishnavas, serving the devotees that we possibly offended.
So if there's some offense, does that mean Krishna's withdrawing his love?
He's withdrawing the result that we feel, that ecstasy, that determination, that the example that was given is that if a rich or aristocratic man has like some employee, some servant, and that servant has upset him, then he may not give that person much attention. He may, and that person actually may quickly suffer, and in that suffering transform very quickly, and then slowly, in their mood of trying to serve that their employer, gain their grace again and become as well established.
I have a question. Prabhu.
Yes.
Thank you for the class. Hare Krishna. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay. So we understand that the bona fide way to atone for an offense that you commit to somebody, where you offend somebody, you say the wrong thing to them or do the wrong thing to them, is to approach them humbly and to beg forgiveness. But what if we maybe were a little too loose or spoke about a devotee in a way that, we then perceive to be maybe a little bit off color or offensive, but they weren't actually there? How do we atone for those offenses?
Well, one thing that it said
Like,
they should be what is called anu top. There has to be some regret, and you can serve that devotee. You can always serve devotees and glorify devotees. That's also another thing, is like that reverses the kind of mentality, is to start looking for the glories within others and speaking about those things.
okay. Okay, cool. Yeah, I don't know of any example. Like, you see a lot of examples in the Shastra of devotees who made some offense, especially in the CC, and then the atonement that Lord Chaitanya or that the authority gives is you go to that devotee, you apologize, you beg their forgiveness, and then it's resolved.
Mm.
But yeah, I was wondering if there's like an established
Yeah, you could say it could
atonement.
cause an offense if you say, like somebody who doesn't even know that you're thinking about them. Hey, I was thinking all this about you. Like, it might
Yeah.
actually offend them. So, yeah.
Yeah.
There's also
Okay.
the 1715, the austerities of speech. So anadvegam karam bhakyam satyam prihitam chaya swadayabhyasan. So it's not agitating. So yeah, we want to make sure that we're not in our sense of uh, resolving ourselves. If the person, we might cause we actually might cause agitation. So we don't want to, better to just serve nicely.
Yeah.
Actually, for years, I hated you. Now I don't hate you as much. When you did this, I thought that was dumb, and you did that. I don't know.
Yeah. So it's
So
more of
not
an
not
internal thing. Yeah. More of an internal feeling of regret and feeling of wanting, it's more between you and Krishna in that sense than you and the devotee itself. You have to show Krishna more internally that you're regretful and
and then
that
sir, you can serve the devotee.
yeah.
I
Nice.
was reading yesterday. It says that the devotee may forgive, but the dust on their feet may not forgive. Therefore, we bow at the feet of the devotees.
Nice. Thank you for that's great. That's helpful. Appreciate it.
We have Bhima and Narottam Nitai. Hands up. Bhima.
I just wanted to, it's a little off time, but Mathuranath mentioned what makes us hesitate. And that's because ultimately, with all our talk and all our philosophy and even all our reading, you have to walk the walk. And however big our false ego is, because actually that's what we're looking for. Prabhupada had this saying, shoot for the rhino. Or chasing rhinos, I can't remember, but it's going after the big game. And the big game in this hunt to what it is that ails us and separates us is the false ego, this I am. And so when you walk the walk, as big as your false ego is, that's how high the mountain is and how steep, and whether you have to scramble or, literally tie yourself in. I would think that tying yourself in would be sort of like reading the scripture and hanging out with the devotees, because they're the rock. They're gonna hold on to you if you should fall. But yeah, that's why we hesitate, because it is a huge task, and ultimately, Krishna has the grace. He has the grace to show us, here's your path, walk it. I mean, let's take a look at all the great saints and what they had to go through, including Prabhupada, but just as one that's a very fine and well-known Western example is Christ had to carry a cross to his own crucifixion. And even Christ fell a couple of times. And even Christ prayed in Gethsemane, dear Lord, if it be your will, let this cup passeth from my hands. Christ was like, so you're going to crucify me. if it be your will, I wouldn't mind, something else. But he said, but your will be done. And he accepted the fact that this purification process, this process of waking up, is sometimes very painful. But at the same time, it's the pain of, a little bhakti sprout coming up through the cement of our material desires. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. We have Narottam Nitai Prabhu also. Thank you, Bhima Prabhu.
Dhanyavad, Prabhuji, I really wanted to say you inspire me to read Srila Prabhupada's books a lot more. I started reading chapter 10 of the Bhagavad Gita yesterday. And it's very nice. One thing I wanted to point out is that Harinam really helps. Either Harinam or Kirtan, either in the temple or outside, it really helps to bring devotees together and to keep like the sanghas going. And yes, seva is very important, and of course, like and one thing I wanted to ask is I usually look at like chapter 16, the first verse, where it talks about divine qualities versus demonic qualities. So one kind of trick I'm trying to do is just like glorify devotees for their divine qualities, whether it be service or other things. And by doing so, we naturally not only recognize those qualities, but we also can develop those qualities ourselves. So I know some devotees take really good care of like Tulsi Maharani. They're with the very detailed care of Tulsi Maharani. I know other devotees are very dedicated to making garlands, or other devotees like love to perform kirtan. So like just acknowledging all the various services that devotees perform really helps us to really develop those good qualities in ourselves too. And what to speak about, like just value of association, and the value of managing our finances correctly so that we can continue on with our devotional life. I've had that experience myself, because it's one thing to be happy, but it's a different thing to be careless. You have to be. Srila did say the Maha Mantra is like, you can, if you're not careful, you can cut yourself with it. So you have to be really careful, and therefore, yeah. So I'm trying, Prabhuji. I'm really trying. I'm trying to read. I'm amazed that some devotees can go through the entire Bhagavatam in like months. In just like a few months. I'm here still trying to finish, um, uh, you know, uh, the first canto, or the first book of the Bhagavatam still. So done. Thank you.
Thank you. What you said was very important. What you count counts. If you count, if you and you even brought the economic part of it. If you count money, if you count like all your expenses, your income will increase. You will have more money if you keep track of all your funds. If you count the good qualities in devotees, those good qualities will increase within yourself. If you count everyone's bad qualities, those bad qualities will increase within yourself. So what you count definitely counts. And one point about reading is I underestimated, I think everyone underestimates the power of a very small goal. I'm most devotees that, been coming to temple 20, 30 years, you ask them, have you read the entire Srimad Bhagavatam? 40 years, 50 years? A lot of people say, no. But do you know if you read one verse of the Bhagavatam a day, if you look at all, just go on YouTube and look at you can see the temple's YouTube channel. How long ago were they on this verse previously? It's always 12 years. So if you read at the pace of the temple morning Bhagavatam class, you read one verse a day. Sometimes, there's verses without purports, you read a few ahead. But if you read at that pace, which is, 10 minutes and 5 minutes, if you read just one verse a day within 12 years, that's better than most people. Most you try to, okay, I'll read without that plan of just a minimal. I'm going to read 5 minutes a day, or I'm going to read one verse a day. When you don't make that plan, you can go on 30 years like, oh my God, I'm on seventh canto and it's been 30 years. Why is it taking so long? But if you make a little plan, you will fly through. Okay, I'll read 2 verses a day. You will fly through and you'll realize, my God, this is so little reading. But because the Bhagavatam it's sometimes very thick, and you have to commit to like, okay, I have to do a little bit every day. It makes a huge difference.
Don't greet the dawn without a map, Vaisheshika Prabhu says. And he also says, what you appreciate appreciates. In other words, what you put your effort in grows. Bhima Prabhu?
I just wanted to say that one verse a day is like that's plenty, especially when you have a purport and you have devotees chiming in about their own personal experiences. That's sufficient unto the day. You know, we have such a feast in the morning, and it's in the morning before anything else. So we're getting the timing down too. We should not underestimate the fact that we are currently reading the Bhagavatam and relishing it and relishing the association of devotees. That's what makes this whole gathering so important. Hare Krishna.
Bhima Prabhu. All right. So, yeah, I wanted to quickly reflect on Mathuranath Prabhu's point about why are we afraid of what Krishna is going to do to us. And I immediately thought, I mean, what is material world going to do to us? Think of that. And then just jump into Krishna's arms. Because what's the alternative? Our body, this very body that we put so much care in, it'll become lifeless, like a chair, like an object.
First, it'll turn into a horror show, and then it'll
go. Yeah, so let's jump into Krishna's arms, dear devotees, together, collectively.
And a lot of time, one of my reflections on this is in the work I do with people, they're scared that what happened in their childhood and traumas or very hard things they went through are going to keep reoccurring. That's gonna happen with Krishna if they give themselves to Krishna, because we have these unconscious beliefs that are playing out. So I'm scared. So we think Krishna is going to be like our parents. Maybe our parents neglected us, or they were mean in some way. But Krishna's not like that. Krishna's so loving. He loves us so much. He cares about us so much.
And he is available immediately. Like Nityananda Chandra Prabhu was saying that no other yoga system offers immediate access to the divine. They have to go through stages and phases, and they have to be qualified in this way and that way. In Bhakti, one step towards Krishna, one sincere mantra, and you're right there. One act of service. Jai. Okay. Isaiah, Annabelle, please recite the mantra loudly.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Rami Ram, Hare Hare.
Sweet. Thank you so much, dear devotees. Thank you, Nityananda Chandra Prabhu, for the wonderful class. Thanks, everyone, for your participation and association, for your emotion and devotion. Thank you very much. We love you. We need you. Come again tomorrow.